Hi, I'm Amy Rose White. I'm an integrative psychotherapist making videos on improving mental and spiritual wellness. Today I'm going to talk about how to cope with election stress. It is, as I'm making this, mid-August. We've got a couple more months to go to the November election for the President of the United States in America. And the stress is mounting. I myself have had to be very careful about what I expose myself to. I generally avoid most news outlets. I personally only seek out some independent news journalism and voices on my terms when I want to seek that information, and I trust that the spaces that I engage in will let me know when something major has happened. I personally choose to focus more on my circle of influence, which is relatively small. Hopefully, it includes you too, but it's my family, it's my clients, it's my friends, it's my community. That said, it is stressful, and you have to be living under a rock to not have been feeling the intensity increase over the recent years, where, at least in the United States, and I would argue really all throughout the world in major industrialized nations, division, animosity, anger, even cruelty towards one another has grown to all time heights. So I'm here to just offer a few suggestions that I myself am following as well. So the first is to remember that the whole thing is manipulative. And what I mean by that is either political party, I would argue that may or may not be the case for independent voices, but let's just look at the two-party system in the United States. The media pundits, the speeches, the speakers, the analyzers, everything that you see on media about the election is literally designed to get views, to get you to listen, to get you to watch, to get you to comment, to get you to follow. It's all designed to incite fear on some level to get you to watch and to get your loyalty. This is something that I would love to see change in the political sphere as long as we have a governmental system at all. And what we need to remember is, as critical thinkers, not to lose that insight into how we're being used as pawns to gain votes for whatever person's individual gain. Now, granted, we might feel our political, um, you know, the person that we support politically is going to do something good for their constituents and cares about that. And hopefully that's true. However, if we look at historically, that's not always been the case. And anytime we're being told that XYZ person is absolutely going to lead to a certain disastrous outcome, we're probably being used in the sense that our fears are being exploited to get an alignment with whoever is making that argument. Because that kind of divisive pandering to get votes is really like appealing to the 5-year-old mind part of us that just wants to be safe. And you will do just about anything if someone convinces you that if you don't listen to them, you are going to be fundamentally unsafe. And isn't it interesting, in the two-party system in the United States, both sides are saying that about the opposing party. So I would argue that we have to be really, really careful about falling into the trap of being manipulated. And we need to look more at evidence from people's backgrounds, their political history, what has actually happened in the past, what are the things that people are threatening, what does that actually look like in countries where those things have happened? Is this person really fitting that profile, or is this just a bunch of words to get me to say, oh, I'm on this bandwagon? Because I think that can happen really easily. To be frank, humans are easily psychologically manipulated, myself included. And that's the only reason I can really speak to this is because I've seen it in myself. I see it in myself, and I have to guard against it myself as well. I would argue that the only thing that we can really count on are cycles of change. So if a certain person gets voted in and we predict this outcome is going to come from that, maybe it will, maybe it won't. But cycles of leadership, at least in America, have very predictably gone one way and then the other way, one way and then the other way. And I like to look at history, past behavior in regarding predicting future behavior. And to me, that gives me some comfort, regardless of what way things go. And I personally actually don't affiliate with either political party, just let you know I'm fairly apolitical. But I am very interested in critical thinking. I'm very interested in people avoiding being coerced and manipulated through propaganda of any kind from any party. I'm very interested in us remembering that it's our strength and our endurance to overcome absolutely anything as human beings that will get us through whatever the outcome is. And I hope that thinking about it that way allows people to loosen their grip a little away from fear and more into the recognition that if your worst case outcome, your disaster scenario happens, stress, conflict, anger, historically has all resulted in galvanizing groups of people, instigating social change, and movements that involved more collaboration than divisiveness. So sometimes those really difficult phases politically in history actually are what motivate people into being the most kind, courageous, humanitarian version of themselves. And what we think is our savior is not always ending up being that. The person that we really want to win, that we think is all good, and the other person is all bad, that is very, very rarely, if ever, in my belief and observation and experience, the case. So if we can go a little away from polarizing thinking and language and realize that, kind of everyone ends up politically in their behavior falling somewhere in the middle historically. And if that doesn't happen, if some extreme event happens in the United States, we're going to handle it. You will handle it. I will handle it. Our families will handle it. We will figure it out. And I would way rather you just decide that and then use all of your wonderful, beautiful, energetic energy and your life force, your core vitality, to put that in places where it's actually useful. Even if that's what are we making for dinner tonight? Or where would we like to go on a family trip before the summer ends? Or what's the book that I want to read next? Or where could I volunteer in my community? How could I be of service to someone else to get my mind off all these huge things in the world that I cannot control? That is my advice for all of us as we get closer to the end of election season into what is, I think, going to be a lot of expect the unexpected. Our brains don't like that either. So hopefully these thoughts assist with that entire process and lead us to a greater sense of peace and ease in our lives, before, during, after the election. Let me know, how are you coping with election stress? Is it getting to you? Do you ignore it? How do you deal? I'm sure you have some wonderful ideas beyond what I've spoken to today. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for any comment, feedback. What do you think about my top? This is my Charlie Brown sequin top, one of my favorites. And until next time, may you be safe, may you be happy, and may you be well. Oh, and may you be at peace. Bye for now.